The other driver was at fault for the accident. So why is my insurance company paying anything? Why is my health insurance company paying anything? Why am I paying anything? We're going to find out on this week's Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning, everybody. It is Jobeth Bowers, your accident and injury guy, coming here from my Elkton office. This comes directly from a question that I get all the time. My office, as you probably know by now, handles hundreds of injury cases from auto accidents each and every year, almost exclusively right here in Cecil County. People that live here, people that work here, people that get in accidents here, that's what we're here for, and it's all we do. So we naturally get this question because everybody wants to know how everything's getting paid. The thought process is, hey, the other person's at fault. They should be paying for everything. And when you dig deep and realize how these cases work, you understand that they are paying for everything. However, the question always comes up as to why is my insurance company paying for some of this or all of this, or how does that even work? And it's a great question because up here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The other person's at fault, they should pay for everything. But there are two sides to most coins, and this one is no different. There are a few elements at play here, and we're going to start with the most important one. When we get a settlement or a verdict from the at-fault person, driver, or the insurance company representing them, because, of course, it's the insurance companies that pay these claims. It's the insurance companies that pay jury verdicts. Don't forget that. They don't pay till the end. Some of these cases that we handle are relatively minor, not severe injuries, but here we are. We're here to help people. We're here to make sure that we're guiding and navigating through this process. So even in the smallest cases, where somebody maybe goes to the ER or maybe just in urgent care, and they go to physical therapy for a couple of months. They've seen their primary care doctor a handful of times in there. And we settle the case very, very quickly for a great amount of money compared to what the person went through. It's still months and months from when the occurrence happened, when the bill was generated, that everything gets settled. And that's in a best case scenario for one of the more small cases. Because as we've talked about before, the length of treatment, you getting done with medical care, is the first factor in how long these cases take. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't changed. That urgent care wants to get paid. They don't care that somebody else is at fault. They don't care that an insurance company is eventually going to pay that claim. They want their money now, oftentimes within 30, sometimes 60 days of the care. So use your health insurance or that coverage that we've talked about many, many times that's on your auto insurance policy, personal injury protection. It'll pay those bills sooner up to the limit that's there. That way, you're not getting sent to collections by the hospital, by the urgent care, by any of the medical providers along the way. Now, when it comes to the physical therapy, chiropractic, a lot of times even some of the orthopedic doctors, if they know you're represented by a law firm like mine, one that actually does auto accident cases on a regular basis, they will hold those balances because they understand how these cases work. But as I've also mentioned in other episodes before, if the provider is in network and accepts your health insurance, you are overwhelmingly in Maryland going to end up in a better position financially at the end of the claim if it gets paid by the health insurance. There are going to be built-in discounts that you will get the advantage of. And the way that the law is constructed in Maryland as of today, those payments that are made by your health insurance company don't count against you when it comes to calculating the settlement value or the case verdict. The fact that personal injury protection, let's say you listen to everything I have said in all of these episodes, and you've maxed out that PIP insurance, you've got $10,000 in PIP, so many of your medical bills get paid, a jury won't know about it. A jury is not supposed to know about it. If there is some indication on the bills that are provided by the medical professional that they've been paid by PIP, a jury will be instructed that that fact is irrelevant. The at-fault driver and their insurance company does not get the benefit of you having good insurance, of you listening to my podcast and making all of these changes. So it ends up meaning, as difficult as it sounds, that your insurance company might pay for parts of this or all of this before we settle with the at-fault company, there are very, very few, if any, examples and scenarios at all in which having those coverages pay before the other insurance company pays. Very, very rare that does not result in you getting more money in your pocket. Plus, the important element of having those medical bills be paid or mostly paid, maybe they're holding copays instead of the full balance until the end. That way, nobody's sending you statements or invoices or accidentally sending you to collections or intentionally sending you to collections. You know and have that little bit of peace of mind that that bill is handled. And then we're going to get you paid for the whole thing at the end. The confusing element, I think, to most of my clients and most people that when we talk about this, is that the settlements or the verdicts in these cases are lump sums, one amount of money. And that one amount of money encompasses all of the medical, any wage loss, any other out-of-pocket expenses that result from the accident and its injuries. The attorney's fees are in there, pain and suffering, anything that compensates you for how this accident and these injuries caused by the accident have impacted the activities of your daily life. Is there something that you do regularly? Are you, as we've mentioned before, are you a hunter, a fisher? Are you involved in sports? Are you a gardener? Motorcycles? Any of these things are things that if you do them, you know how you might not be able to do them for a period of time if you've suffered one of these injuries that we commonly see in these accidents. That's worth something. The most confusing thing, though, as I mentioned to most people, is it's not itemized. If we settle a case for $50,000, the documentation from the insurance company is going to say, hey, we're settling this case. We're giving you $50,000 and you're not suing our driver. Done deal. It does not say $14,000 is because of medical care and $8,000 is for attorney's fees and $10,000 is for pain and suffering. And, it doesn't go piece by piece by piece. It's just 50 grand or 100 grand or whatever we settle the accident case for. It's money, no lawsuit. That's the trade. No itemization. Not in these cases, not the way that they are. Now, a little nuanced. If you're ever on a jury or if your case is ever in front of a jury, they're going to get a verdict sheet that says, how much are you giving and awarding for past medical bills? How much are you awarding for past lost wages? If there is an indication of future medical care, future wage loss, there'll be line items for that on the verdict sheet, as well as the factor for pain and suffering, the non-economic damages. A jury is going to be asked line by line in pretty much all of these cases. That is a fact. However, the payments just come in as one lump sum. The goal in an ideal scenario where you've been in an accident, you call me right away, and you've listened to everything I've said in all these other videos, so we know that you have a really great setup as far as the insurance is concerned, is to make this so that the vast majority of your medical care is already paid for before we resolve the claim. My goal in situations where I'm able to do it is to absolutely 100% maximize what I put in my client's pocket at the end, because the case itself is worth what the case is worth. Again, I'll say it, the case is worth what the case is worth. However, the bottom line number, what you, the end client, actually put in your pocket after everybody related to the accident's been paid or has been taken care of, much more important to me. And I find it to be much more important for most of my clients. So if you have questions about this, if you've been injured in an accident, especially if you live in Cecil County, you work in Cecil County, the accident happened here in Cecil County, this is really the sweet spot. I am licensed in the entire state of Maryland, so there isn't anything to stop me from representing you there. My preference is to keep it local. But if you do mention this podcast and say, hey, I want you to represent me, I was in an accident in another part of Maryland, it's fine. We're going to take care of you. That's what we're here for. Give us a call. 410-885-6200. That's right there. And if you have questions, whether they're accident related or just law related or something adjacent that we've talked about that you have a curiosity about, shoot me an email. Make sure that you mention that you want it here on the podcast. If it's something accident and injury related, then hey, here we go. It's going to be like this one where, hey, common question I've received in email, topic for today. If it's not something that I handle, like I've done before and will continue to do, I'm bringing in somebody who does handle it. We've done employment law. We've done estate planning. We have done some criminal stuff. We have done consumer protection. I did a whole month last June protecting you from scams. So nothing that can be useful to the general public is really off the table here. So that's it for this week's Monday Morning Lawyer. Hope all is well. Next week, we're going to give away some tickets to an upcoming event. So please spread the word. Make sure people tune in live, because next week, like I said, we have tickets to give away. So we're going to do another drawing. That is, I think, April 7th. Next week, next Monday, same thing. 10 a.m. every week. Until then, be well, be safe out there.